Hello.
Welcome.
Welcome to Mount Shasta, to the Stargate experience. We are outside and the sun keeps changing, so
We had everything set up really nicely, and then the sun came around and it's blasting us out behind, but that's okay. It looks like you can see us.
yeah.
So this this recording is basically designed to create a podcast after it, and we're just inviting you to be a participant, holding the energy field as we do this. And so we just want to welcome you.
Yep.
Today, we're going to be focusing on the story of the Earth, really, what's happening here. And we're going to have Alcazar do most of that because he's the one that basically has created it for us.
That's right. But before we get into all that, we just wanted to connect a bit with you and
catch you up with some of the things that have been happening.
Yeah.
So as many of you know, I just came back from Nanaimo on Vancouver Island up in Canada, and I was there at the Science and Spirituality Science and Spirituality Conference that was arranged by Lee Carroll and Ilan, and it was really absolutely amazing. There were some very powerful speakers discussing the leading edge science, what's actually being discovered now on what's happening on research on all different levels. What it's bringing up is a lot of excitement for me because it's confirming things that Alcazar and Cryon have been saying for almost 30 years. And it's giving the scientific background to these things. And so it's both a relief and a great joy to hear them talk and to share their information. I did an evening presentation as well as part of just sharing to the larger group. It was a huge group, over 1,200 people. And in the evening presentation, I shared some of the Stargate work and some meditations. And we've recorded it, and actually Ashley's in the process of editing it. And when it's done, we'll just make that available to everyone. We'll send an email out with a link to it. And if you're interested, you can listen to what was shared there.
Yeah, and we've just had a really great weekend here in Mount Shasta with a group of our friend Jill has this spiritual singles dating network. And so we had a group of about almost 50 people. And it was a really sweet gathering, a lot of really new people to the Stargate work, and yet it felt like a really high level of
we were actually very pleasantly surprised. Yeah. We didn't know what to expect because this was advertised as the Stargate experience for the spiritual singles network, and we didn't have any sense at all about what they would be bringing in terms of their expectation. But it turned out to be really wonderful.
And Alcazar was sharing really beautiful insights about how we create with our vibration and how to start to welcome in what you want to consciously create.
It was really good.
Great. So
anything else?
Let's set an energy field and then we can get started. We're recording, right? Audio? Cool.
Ashley's back there in the background. You can't see her, but she's nodding away. Okay, so you see that butterfly that just flew past? Yeah. It's really nice being outside.
Yeah, we're enjoying it.
Okay, let's set a field, Jules.
Okay, so we'll invite all of you who are listening just to close your eyes, go inside. And so, beloved ones, we greet thee, 'tis Alcazar, and we invite you just to take a moment to relax. Perhaps you can hear the bird song. Perhaps you can feel the energy here in Mount Shasta. We are going to invite each and every one of you hearing these words, whether you are listening live or to the recording, just to ask inside right now for an etheric stargate, for the consciousness of the stargate structure to come and to form around you, so that you are seated or lying down within your own etheric stargate right now. And so we call for the presence of an etheric stargate. And if you wish to make this stronger, even visualizing this pyramid shape forming around you, you do not need to know exactly how it looks. And asking inside for the activation of your etheric stargate. So we call for the activation of all the etheric stargates. And a gentle energy field beginning to form around you. Just relaxing. No need to even try to feel it. Very good. And as always, we invite you to connect very deeply with the earth, the energy of Gaia. So just asking inside for the earth to bring her energy into your body, into your energy field. And simply allowing the body to relax, to be receptive, and feeling as the earth responds to you. And finally, we invite you to ask inside for a strong 12th dimensional energy field. So we call for a strong energy field of the 12th dimension. And your etheric stargate radiates this energetic to you. And beloveds, we are going to invite you just to ask inside for the presence of the angels, just to hold their energy field with you whilst you listen to the information that these two will be presenting to you. So just asking inside, we call for the presence of the angelic realm. And feel. Here they come.
Lovely. Okay, so now we'll start the recording for the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So we just invite you to hold the energy. And I think along with the angels, we brought some of the mosquitoes as well.
Oh no! Shoot.
But
We're gonna
anyway,
have
we
to.
survive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So.
Hello and welcome. I'm Prageet.
I'm Julianne.
And welcome to the Stargate podcast about super consciousness. This series is about assisting you to view life from a totally different perspective from how we've been programmed and taught over the years. And so our premise is you're not who you thought you are. You're far more than that. You are, in fact, a superconscious being. And what we'd like to share also is the story of how humanity came to be here.
So, Alcazar so often says, you are not alone in this vast universe. So today we're going to be sharing the story of consciousness and how it evolves in universal time. And in that story that Alcazar likes to share, you really get a sense of the earth being this really special, what Alcazar sometimes calls it, the Great Experience Experiment.
Mm.
So today we're going to be sharing some pretty far out concepts, and we're going to be talking about star families. So who are the star families?
Okay, well, I mean, there's lots of them. Many people that we've been working with over the years, and many people in the New Age communities are aware of the Pleiadians and the Arcturans and the Sirians and so on. So who are these beings? Well, they exist out there in our universe, and they are existing on a higher dimensional level, which is why when the scientists go looking for them, they can't find any sign.
Right.
Alcazar kind of smiles when we ask him, well, why haven't we discovered them? He said, well, you're looking in the wrong place.
You're looking in the wrong dimension.
You're looking in the wrong dimension, yeah. Yeah.
So we just wanted to mention that with all of the information that we present, it's never meant to be just information for your mind. The real transformation and the real adventure that the Stargate is inviting you into is an adventure in your own consciousness, your own awareness expanding and actually feeling the presence of these star families. And when you're in that energetic, and particularly when Alcazar talks about these things, it opens us up to knowing from this direct experiential place. And we still don't really know, right? It's just like we're open to that possibility, and it feels right to me. And for Prageet, he didn't even want to talk about star families when Alcazar first started channeling through him in the late 80s.
Yeah, in fact, one of the podcasts goes into detail about my experience with Alcazar when he wanted to talk about the star families or extraterrestrials. And I didn't do it because I didn't believe that it was true. And he arranged for me to have an experience of going up to a spacecraft. And that's in one of the podcasts.
Yeah.
You can listen to that story if you haven't heard it already. But also, a generation or two ago, everybody, and still many people now, just believe that we have one lifetime. We're here, we live, we're gone. More and more people are beginning to accept the understanding, the ancient understandings, that we actually here and we live for many lifetimes. We come back again and again, and it's a process of growing and understanding. Our consciousness is expanding through all our experiences. And so that's the focus of what we'd like to share with you today.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to ask Alcazar to come in and do most of the talking, right?
Yeah, that's the plan.
Yeah.
So should we do that?
Yeah. Okay. So here we go. Beloved ones, we greet thee. 'Tis Alcazar. And as we are talking with you, we invite you to allow for the possibility that as we talk, we are sharing an energy. And as we share this energy, you can feel it if you tune in, if you relax and allow for that possibility that this energy can be shared. Because we are connecting with you not just on the physical level, not just the recording of these words, but we are connecting with you in the quantum field where there is no time, where you can connect outside of time. And this is a concept that slowly, your scientists are understanding and going to explore much further in your relatively new, exciting future. So, what is occurring here? Who are you really? We would suggest that humanity is on the leading edge of creation. This is difficult to accept initially if you look and see what is occurring in your world right now. But we would suggest that enormous changes, vast conceptual understandings are about to permeate into human consciousness, into human life, creating incredible changes here on your earth. Why? Because humanity is in the process of awakening. So we have to move back in time to begin this story. We are going to move back very, very distantly into perhaps some of the first consciousnesses that existed here in your universe. We would suggest that humanity is the most recent of a long chain of evolution of planetary civilizations. These civilizations have been evolving over an infinite time period, eons, a time period that is difficult for the mind to truly grasp. And with each star family being created and evolving, becoming aware of their environment, then becoming aware of who am I, and then reaching that place that here you call enlightenment, not just for individuals, but for the whole society. When a planetary society reaches that point, they then evolve into a new level of being, that which is often called living in a light body, a much higher vibration. And then they take their wisdom, their knowledge, and they share it with a growing planetary, evolving planetary group. And so each society, as it becomes enlightened, creates from beginning the possibility for a new planetary civilization, which in turn, over eons of time, evolves into also becoming enlightened as the whole civilization. And so this has been occurring throughout time here in your universe. And humanity is the most recent in this evolution. So, how did this happen? So again, now we've created this image of many enlightened civilizations around your universe. And they have been there for millions of your Earth years, evolving, growing, expanding. And then what is next? And so it was decided that volunteers from each of these very different civilizations, star families, volunteers would come to this place. They would all bring their knowledge and wisdom to this one place, which you call your Earth. And they brought themselves here. And the agreement was that when they came, they would forget where they came from. The agreement was that they would all put on these physical bodies, this bodysuit, as we sometimes call it. And as they bring themselves from these vast experiences, this range of experience, into the human form, forget where they have come from. And they knew that they would move through a period of integration with each other, not knowing who they were. And in that integration period, you'll be moving down into deep unconsciousness, the dark ages, as you have called them. And then in the dark ages, whilst there was mixing and mingling of all these unique beings, lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, each one of you growing and evolving individually. And which this is starting to bring us towards the present moment. As in the last short time on your earth, humanity is beginning to look into the sciences, look into spirituality in a whole new way, where you are beginning to connect once more to a deeper intuition. And your intuition is your connection to the beyond. So spirituality is beginning to evolve. There are many who have been channeling, as you call it, bringing information from beyond the physical realm, sharing it with humanity in many different ways. And this has created the expansion of awareness. And that expansion is occurring extremely rapidly right now. So, this process of going unconscious, why? Because it allowed for this mixing and merging. And now, as you begin this process of reawakening, you will start to connect once more to the universe. You will start to connect to the star families, those beings who have been watching, observing, waiting for these times. And so you can see, if you carefully look, so many of the different star families beginning to connect through individuals and groups. And so we have said that the star families assist the next line, the next in line. And so the question is, well, who is it that is primarily helping humanity? And those are the Pleiadians. So this star family in the Pleiades has been supporting humanity since the very beginning of consciousness coming into the human form. The Pleiadians are highly supportive of humanity. They are assisting in many, many different ways to create a gentle energetic of change. Before, the Pleiadians were the Arcturans. The Arcturans assisted the Pleiadians in their process of awakening, becoming conscious, becoming enlightened. And so the Arcturans are also very familiar to many in humanity because all the star families wish to present themselves here. Why? Because individually you have come from some of these civilizations out in the stars. There is a star family where you lived before you became human that is waiting for you to reconnect with them. For some of you, this sounds very, very strange. And we say always to each and every one of you, whatever we are talking about, whatever we are sharing with you, tune in and feel, does this feel appropriate for me? We do not ask you to believe this. In fact, we say, don't believe what we are saying. Be open to the possibility that this might be a truth for you. Because in that openness to the possibility that this may have some relevance for you, there's a great chance, an opportunity that you can have an experience. When you have an experience of connecting to your star family, then it is no longer a concept that you have heard. It starts to be part of your reality. It starts to allow you to receive direct connection, feel the love of your star family, feel their appreciation for what you are doing here. We said a short while ago that humanity is on the leading edge of creation. This is why, because all knowledge and wisdom from around your universe has been brought here. You have brought it here. The Pleiadians, a long time ago, many years ago, through your Barbara Messiniak, called your Earth a living library. And that library is not in books or recordings. The library is within your very DNA. So, how is that? We would suggest that you have within you, entangled with your physical DNA, what we would call a higher dimensional DNA. Within this DNA, that which you often call the Akashic record is held. The record of all your past lives here on Earth. As you begin to evolve, as you begin to raise your vibration, you will start to access some of the information and memories of experiences. But in this higher dimensional DNA, it carries information, memories of where you came from before you became human. And so as you evolve, as you raise your vibration, you begin to access so much more. You begin to understand from your own knowing what is occurring here. And in this podcast series, we will actually offer you a meditation where you can tune in and move through a loving, gentle, guided meditation that will assist you in connecting to your star families. And so it is a great wonder what is occurring here.
And so, beloved ones, in the energy fields that we will be bringing to you, our intention is to bring you into a space, a conscious awareness where you can feel the vastness of the being who you truly are. And from this place of knowingness, you can hear the voice of your intuition very clearly. Because, beloved ones, you are vast, multidimensional beings. You have existed for eternity, and you will continue to exist. You, the consciousness, not you, the personality. And so, if you have existed forever, can you then be open to the possibility that you have existed in other planetary civilizations before your soul came to experience this earth? You incarnate again and again, lifetime after lifetime. Why? For your experiencing, for your learning, for the grand experiment of consciousness that is happening here. This is a beautiful time to be alive, beloved ones, for you are in an exponential awakening. You can see your technology is exponentially evolving, beloveds. Your consciousness on your planet is also evolving rapidly. And so this is how consciousness evolves in your universe, a planetary civilization becoming enlightened as a whole, reaching this place where they vibrate outside of the third dimension, where they exist in the quantum field, in these light bodies, where they are in total connection with their superconsciousness, with the universe, with spirit. And as they embody that place of knowing themselves as creator, they bring the spark of consciousness to the next planetary civilization. This happened for you in your earth. And beloveds, as you evolve many of your earth years from now, you too will bring the spark of consciousness to another planetary civilization that is being prepared right now.
Wow. So what Alcazar has been saying over the last few years is that we are, in fact, this super consciousness, and that our human consciousness is just a small part of that vastness. And as we begin to shed conditioning that's actually limiting us, belief systems that are no longer our truth, behavior patterns that we've learned that are not serving us, as we let go of those things, we connect more and more, first of all, through our intuition, but then as we raise our energy vibration, more and more of our super consciousness actually comes into the body. And that's the process of becoming enlightened. The vibration gets more and more, and ultimately, you incarnate the whole of your super consciousness, and then you're in that enlightened state.
Yeah, and apparently the levels of bliss that you can experience when you bring that state into the physical is quite something. I'm excited to experience that. Maybe can it be in this lifetime? Like,
I don't
I
know.
don't
Well, one of
know.
the things that Alcazar has said about this particular time in regards to enlightenment is that in the past, individuals have, through their own working and meditation, their own intention, have actually reached that place of enlightenment. And it's always been individuals doing it. They've been sharing their understanding with disciples or followers. But what Alcazar has been saying is that what's occurring now is different. What's occurring now is as people start to awaken and reach a new level of understanding, rather than powering on and becoming an enlightened themselves, there's much more of an agreement where those individuals reach this new level of understanding, start to share it, and then move on. So that we're now working towards the awakening of the whole of humanity. And that, of course, as we know, will change the earth, will change the way that we live, the way that we relate to each other.
And the beauty is that what Alcazar says about these star families is essentially that everyone here on Earth is a representative from one of these enlightened civilizations. Many of us have lived in a few of them. But essentially, what's happening is we're bringing the cosmic record of all these different lineages of wisdom within our universe, different environments, different skill sets, different kind of like conscious explorations,
even different body
body forms.
forms. Yeah.
Yeah. And so what he said is actually that volunteers from each of these civilizations were selected to come here. So the earth actually consists of representatives who are like the cream of the crop in each of these civilizations, because it's almost like they reached the pinnacle of their potential in that environment.
Yeah.
They've evolved and they experienced everything they had to experience there. And so what's happening on the earth is actually something that is
never happened before.
Never happened before in this universe.
And that's why there's such an interest and excitement in the universe about what's going to happen here, what's going to be created as all that vast wisdom is brought into one place.
As we start to really awaken. And that's why Alcazar calls the earth the great experience experiment.
Yeah. Far out.
Cool. So thanks for tuning in to your super consciousness. And thanks for sharing some time with us today.
Okay, so that's a wrap on that one. And we'll be editing that at some point and creating a podcast. When we have a whole bunch of them, then we'll actually be making them available.
So thank you guys so much for holding the space with us. And sorry about the brightness of all the lighting.
And we survived the mosquitoes, which is really great. Okay, we love you. And as we said, we'll be emailing you some little goodies, recordings at some point as soon as they're all finished. So we love you. Thank you for sharing this. Thank you for all the support. And we look forward to seeing you somewhere on this small earth sometime soon.
Bye.
Love you. Bye bye.